So this is a good question, because when we talk about consent, consent has to be freely given, and it's been recognised that the consent given, the relationship between an employer and an employee makes it very difficult to prove that the employee freely gives their consent. So you would not, in terms of an employee, you would not rely on consent. You would rely on performance of a contract as the legal grounds, because you have an employment contract between them. And in the case of special data, which is Article 9 of the GDPR, there would be employment grounds as well. So you'd never ask for consent, and things like the ability for that employee to have their data erased, exercise their right of data erasure, goes away.
Are there any exceptions to that rule, in terms of the nature of the data that you are holding on those employees?
There are one or two. For example, before they become an employee, so when you're in the recruitment processes, then they consent to give you their data. If they do not become an employee, they fail the interview, don't get an interview, whatever, they have the right to have that data erased if they want it.
You wouldn't automatically be obliged to delete that information?
It would depend on your data retention policy. You may have reason to keep that data. For example, if somebody claims that they did not get an interview because they were racially discriminated against, you would need that data in your records to ensure that you could defend yourself against that claim. So you may keep the data in your notes and so on around that process for a period afterwards to avoid that claim, not being able to defend against that claim.
And is that period of time specified particularly, or is it just deemed as what you consider to be a reasonable time for retention?
It's not defined within the GDPR. But the industrial tribunal cases have a timeout period. I don't off the top of my head know what those timeout periods are, but once the timeout period has passed, then they can no longer bring that kind of claim against you, and therefore you no longer have legal grounds to retain that data, so you should then destroy it.
Okay.